We are not, second or third citizen. We are, part of American society. We are also United States citizens.
Tonight, Mid-Missourians gathered condemning racism against the Asian community.
We are not here to raise our voice of anger. We are here to, hear our wounds.
There to share their own stories. Remember, 8 people killed in an attack on 3 Asian-owned businesses in Georgia. Tonight, a call for action.
We need to focus our future.
This is KOMU 8 News at 10.
Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
It's been 3 days since news broke of that deadly attack in Georgia. Tonight, Mid-Missourians gathered to talk about their own experiences, share their own stories. Good evening. I'm Noah Klein. Thanks for joining us tonight. KOMU 8's Caitlin Specketer is in the newsroom now, and she attended that vigil. Caitlin, what do we know about tonight's events?
Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
Certainly, if a booster dose is needed, sure, I'll get one.
That third booster is already a reality for some people, and it could be coming for even more. The Biden administration is expected to advise that most Americans should get COVID-19 booster shots 8 months after being fully vaccinated. Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Spain. Thanks for joining us.
A big day in Jefferson City as Governor Mike Parson is sworn in for a second term. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, rather. I'm Emily Spain. Thanks for joining us. Our teams in Jefferson City are standing by to bring you that story, as well as a look ahead at how state officials are planning to balance the budget this year. But first, in Columbia, the school board is about to meet to discuss whether to bring students back into the classroom. KOMU 8's Annabelle Thorpe is live at that meeting. But first, KOMU 8's Lauren Schwenker talked to an infectious disease doctor who says it's safe for students to return. She joins us now in the newsroom with the latest. Lauren?
This is disgusting. What happened here is despicable, and it's not only offensive to this church, it's offensive to this community.
More than a week after vandals hit a Holt Summit church, new answers for the community. Callaway County Sheriff Clay Chisholm now says 4 teenagers are in custody related to this incident. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Emily Spain. Thanks for joining us today. It's a story that's drawn a lot of attention here in mid-Missouri. KOMU 8's Ashley Wright heard from the Callaway County Sheriff today about these new developments. She joins us now in the newsroom. Ashley?
10 years, and all of a sudden it just went up in smoke.
How one Columbia woman is doing after making a narrow escape. That's coming up. Okay, thanks, Matt. Coming up, UPS is telling some companies to stop sending packages. Why the company says it's having a hard time delivering.
Ahead for us, a disaster in Haiti drawing comparisons
into the boost provided
to
by the
2010.
American Rescue Plan
The
as
latest on
evidence
cleanup
his
efforts
policies
after
are working.
yesterday's earthquake.
New findings in the attack that shut down a major gas pipeline for several days. Ahead for us, how hackers were able to get into the computer system. Plus, a Columbia Elementary School and its special tribute for a retiring custodian. How students and staff sent him off on his final commute home. Said you've been having trouble sleeping lately? Well, you're not alone. Ahead for us, what experts say is to blame.
Turning now to the turmoil in Afghanistan this weekend, most of the country's government has fallen, and the Taliban is inching closer to taking complete control. Taliban forces are now in the nation's capital of Kabul and have taken control of all of the political centers around it. Taliban fighters who made it to the capital today said they were waiting for, quote, peaceful transfer of the city, saying they would not take it by force. Al Jazeera in Afghanistan reports Taliban negotiators are at the presidential palace to discuss the transfer, but it's unclear when that will take place. On the streets of Kabul, some residents were fearful, while others remained hopeful that nothing would change.
Recently, life has become difficult for people. People worried about the way Taliban treat us before and now. It's a little different.
I'm a girl and I don't care about anyone, not Pakistan, not America, nobody else. I'm here even today. If they kill me, if they identify me, I will not care about them. I will not care about them. What should I be scared of? This is my homeland, my land.
The Afghan president has also now left the country. That's according to senior diplomatic sources in Afghanistan. It comes after the president said he would not leave the country as recently as Friday. The Afghan chairman of the High Council for National Reconciliation, a former ally of the Afghan president, blasted him for leaving. In a video posted to Facebook, he called the Afghan president the former president, saying in part, quote, "The fact that the former Afghan president left the country and put the people and country in such a bad situation, God will hold him accountable, and the people of Afghanistan will also judge him for doing so." Back here in the U.S., President Biden met virtually with his national security team this morning from Camp David. The White House says the meeting focused on Afghanistan and with getting U.S. civilian personnel and Afghan allies out of the country. That has been happening all day at the U.S. Embassy in Kabul. Smoke was seen rising over the embassy and helicopters were flying in and out of the compound. The embassy itself is now operating out of the airport there, which was closed to commercial flights earlier today. The embassy is warning U.S. citizens to shelter in place until U.S. forces can come get them. In the U.S., the speed of the pushback shocked many. It came quickly after the Biden administration announced a U.S. military mission in Afghanistan would end by the end of August, accelerating that withdrawal of U.S. troops. Just a few days ago, an American military assessment estimated it would be at least a month before the capital of Kabul would come under insurgent pressure. This morning on Meet the Press, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken put the blame specifically on Afghan forces.
But on the other hand, I have to tell you that the inability of Afghan security forces to defend their country has played a very powerful role in what we've seen over the last few weeks. And unfortunately, tragically, they have not been able to defend the country. And I think that explains why this has moved as quickly as it's moved.
Just in the last hour, the White House announced it will be sending another 1,000 troops to Afghanistan, bringing the total now to 6,000 troops headed back to the Middle East.